Hello and welcome to the vMix Funtime Live Show. We are up to October 2025. Thank you for coming. I am Heath. This is Tim.
Hello.
And we do a live stream every month because we work for a company called vMix and we make live streaming software. So we think, why not use it?
It's a good point. That's a really good point.
Why not use it?
Why not?
So if you have comments or questions or total nonsense to share with us, please do so in the chat if you are watching live. If you're watching this after the event and you're tuning in after the live show, you can leave some comments as well, but we just won't be able to answer them. So please pop them in and we'll get to them a little bit later in the show. So the big news is 2 days ago we released vMix 29. I don't have that. I don't have.
Does these work?
That's all we got.
Yeah, that's the only sound effect that we have at the moment.
Yes. So vMix 29 came out a few days ago. So if you haven't already updated, check the bottom left-hand corner of your vMix interface and you should see an option to do that. vMix 29 has a bunch of new features and you can learn all about them by going to our YouTube channel. Martin has created a video that goes through all of the new features. We've also got some new content out there that explains some of those features in a bit more detail, including 8 overlay channels, which is probably the more exciting thing of all of the features, allowing you to just go crazy with adding content over the top of your shows. And OMT support, which is Open Media Transport, which is a brand new way to send video over your local network at high quality and low latency. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. So yes, if you have any questions about vMix 29, now is the time to put that into the chat and we can have a talk about it a little bit later. Anything else to add?
I think if you purchase vMix since January 2023, it's free. It's $60 if you want to update. You don't have to update. You can keep using vMix 28 or earlier, depending on what version you've got. So no big deal. But if you do want to update, $60 will get you an extra year worth of updates and you can get to 29 and any other things that we update in the next year or so. So yeah, if you want to do that, feel free to and try out all the things from 29. So it's a fairly lenient update policy at the moment. There was no real rhyme or reason behind having 2 version releases this year, but we kind of wanted to, everything was done, so we wanted to get it out there. So we had one in January and now one in October, so 9 months-ish between them. So yeah, if you wanted to check out vMix 29, feel free.
Yes, indeed.
So since our last show, the Windows 10 is gone. So
RIP.
Pour one out for vMix. Windows 10. I've said vMix 29 about 4,000 times in the last week. So yeah, Windows 10, RIP. So that's pretty sad for those that are still holding on to Windows 10 like myself. Now, we'll be recommending everybody use Windows 11 because signing up to the extended whatever program it is a little bit convoluted. And so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of organizations that will be doing that. And there'll be, Windows 10 IoT support. So if you're running vMix on your fridge, potentially you'll still have Windows 10 support for that for, I don't know how many years that's extended to. But the vast majority of consumers will need to update to Windows 11. If you don't have the capabilities of getting to 11, which I have, I think, on one of my computers at home, where it's like, sorry, not good enough. I think there's ways around it, but I didn't really want to get into that.
They're full registry hacks, like they're not ideal.
Yeah, so I think I might need to update my i5 from 20 years ago to get a new computer. So yeah, so it's just a matter of updating to Windows 11, so everything will be on our website will be Windows 11, so we may need to adjust some things that say Windows 10. If you are running Windows 10 with the extended what's it called?
Yeah, I can't
There's
think of
something.
what,
There's
extended support program or something weird like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that. We do have Windows 10 computers here running the extended support program. So if you continue to use Windows 10, it's a tough one because we can't spend all of our time focusing on Windows 10 if there's some kind of crazy issue with it, but we will be running it just to make sure that there's no huge problems with Windows 10 moving forward.
But to be very clear, only stay on Windows 10 if you are using that program, because if you don't, you won't get any security updates going forward. So your system will gradually become more and more susceptible to issues, and security issues are obviously the worst ones. So yes, only do that if you're doing it right. Otherwise, it's time to go to Windows 11, people.
Plenty of people in the chat still using XP, so that's a concern, but not to be unexpected.
Very good. Just one quick thing about Windows 11. So I get the emails from the Insider program about the latest Windows beta things that are happening. And one of the interesting things that popped up in the feed was a new feature that is likely to drop in Windows 11 that is just when you click on your network button down in the bottom, you've now got the ability to perform a speed test. Now, as I understand it, it's not as exciting as it sounds. It just opens up your local, your native browser and takes you straight to a speed test page, probably via Bing. Haven't 100% checked that. But the benefit of it for vMix users is if you're hitting some sort of issue where your stream button is going yellow or something like that, and you're not sure what the issue might be, you've got a very quick way to access a speed test to see whether your upload bandwidth is looking good. So just something to be aware of, that it will be coming, no doubt, in a future release of Windows 11. And it might be helpful for those that are reliant on dodgy networks or ISPs that are a little bit slow and things like that. So yeah.
RIP.
RIP. Thanks for the memories, Windows 10.
vMix Max, stack the tracks like flapjacks, big backpacks, hacky sacks, knickknacks. vMix Max.
So this segment is about vMix Max, which is our subscription product. You can get all of the features of vMix Pro, but on a subscription, so you pay monthly. And the reason that I bring it up is we recently added the ability for you to purchase more than one copy of vMix Max at a time. So in the past, you've only been able to order or purchase one license at a time in a transaction, and then manage that license independently. Now you can order more than one, and you can manage multiple licenses all at the same time. And the way that that works is, let's say you purchase one license now. In fact, let's use the example in our knowledge base article that we have on our website. If you need more details, the example is, let's say you purchase one license in January, on the 1st of January, and then you go in to manage your license on, say, the 15th of January, and you want to add another subscription. There you can renew that existing license for the following month, so for February, and also add a new license, and that license will begin at the 15th of January, continue on through to the end of that month, and renew for the following month, for the February. And you will only pay for what you purchase, and so or for the remaining time left on that second license. That's a little bit hard to explain, but using that example again, on the 1st of January, you buy a license. 15th of January, right in the middle, you buy a second one. You only pay for half of that month for that second one, and you pay for the following month, because what you're doing is renewing for the following month anyway. And it makes sure that the cadence of all of the licenses are all aligned. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, check out our knowledge base article. You can learn all about it there.
OMT, how we're using OMT, what we're doing OMT, shooby dooby OMT.
That is my fault. Sorry about that. I thought I would quickly show you how we are using OMT today in our live show. And the first thing that I'll show you is it is related to the TV behind us. So at the moment, the content that we put up on the screen is going out over OMT to our screen. This is what it looks like. We've got in the top corner here, this is our studio PC. We're sending a network, we're connected to the network and we're sending OMT out over the network to our switch, part of our network, and that's going to a Raspberry Pi down here, which is literally down on the floor back there on a little on a little box, and then sending it up as HDMI to the screen behind us. So yeah, that is what's actually going on. And so now I'm going to show you how I've set it up, and I'm going to use another laptop to do that. So we will turn that off and cut to the laptop so that you can see. I'll just quickly open up vMix, and there we go. Hopefully you can all see that. So the first thing that I had to do in order to get content out to that screen is I needed to add it. So I'll go to add input. I'm going to go to photos because it's a series of images that I'm using. I'm clicking on browse, going to my posters. Inside the posters folder is where I have all of my images. And so I'm selecting that folder, clicking on OK. And now I've got my posters here. Now they're vertical. However, I want to demonstrate them on a TV that is turned 90 degrees. So I am going to settings. I'm going to go to position. I'm going to rotate 90 degrees and then expand up. Now, the reason that I can do this really roughly is because on our show setup, we have quite a short depth of field or low depth of field. So the background is quite blurry already. So if this is not absolutely perfect, nobody's ever going to notice. All right, so I've now set my image to go out. Now I just go up to settings. I go to my outputs. I designate an output. I'm going to designate output 3 today. I'm going to specify that I'm sending out input 2. That's the new input that I just created with the images. I'm turning OMT on, clicking on OK. And now the last piece of the puzzle is going and accessing the Raspberry Pi and nominating what we want to send on it. So to do that, I open up a browser. This is always risky. And I go to 192.168.1.148 because I know that that is what my Pi is on, and 8080 is the port to access it. All right, here we go. These are the options that I have. These are all the network sources currently. I've got another Raspberry Pi currently that's sending some video out. I've got the Asus laptop that I'm using right now, and our studio, which is currently sending. So we're going to switch to this Asus laptop. We're going to apply it. And now in the background, I'm now using this content. So as I go to the slideshow settings, I can move between them and they change our background image. Wow, amazing. So hopefully that was quite straightforward and easy if you ever want to do something like that. Cool. There we go. All right, I think it might be time for Q&A.
It's time for Q&A.
Pulled it off.
Oh, g'day from vMix.
You pulled it off.
That's nice. Heath, why did you say opening a browser is always risky, not recommended on vMix PC during a live production? No, Mike, it's just that it depends on what content we had there. And don't worry, it's not dodgy content. It's just that it could be, I don't know, a YouTube channel. It could be
It could be something that you've logged into before that might pose a security risk that displays a password in clear text or something ridiculous like that. No, it's mainly just concerns about security and things that we don't want to show people.
Yeah.
Yes, it's perfectly fine to use a browser.
Yeah.
One of my personal favorite things to do is when people show their desktop, even in like post-production, like stuff that's been recorded specifically for YouTube or various other social media, is to read what pops up when they use their address bar. So when they type in a certain letter, what pops up as to their history of what they've been looking at. I also enjoy looking at people's toolbar bookmarks. So if you ever see any of our videos that have a browser, there will be fabricated bookmarks in the toolbar. So feel free to have a look at those. So that's the main reason. Totally fine to use a browser.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just that Heath was worried about things that he's obviously been looking at on this computer.
Come on.
Without the knowledge of everybody else at work. So, yep. So this is something that popped up before that we were discussing in the pre-show. Somebody suggested that they spoke to ASUS to say that they think that potentially some of the new CPUs might have more PCI Express lanes.
If that is the case, that is magnificent. So
Marco, this is all on you. So if hopefully you're telling the truth. But again, like I kind of mentioned in the pre-show, that we get promised this quite a lot, and not even promised, but there's always things on the horizon where of course there's going to be more PCI Express lanes, and unfortunately none of that has ever come to fruition. If anything, we've seen PCI Express lanes and motherboards for that drastically reduced over the years. And even though the CPUs might technically support a certain number, the motherboards don't want to do it. So we had a series of AMD boards like we have in our tutorial PC at the moment that actually supported the possibility of having a buy 8 and a buy 4 card in it. So you could have 2 capture cards. Not anymore.
No.
So the next generation literally had none of those. So it was kind of disappointing where you think you found something and you tell people, oh, try this thing, but it just didn't quite work out. So fingers crossed. And if anybody ever finds any more information about this, or that guy at ASUS wants to contact us, let us know. Next question, why did we not go to NAB this year in New York? Well, due to the release of vMix 29 and how much of an effort it is to get to New York, we decided to give it a miss this year. If I'm feeling like I want to travel for 30 hours for a week just to go to New York to do the show, then I'll do it. But unfortunately this year things didn't really align that well. So it's quite a hike to get there for 2 days. Things like IBC and NAB that are 4 days, and you probably see 6 to 8 times the amount of people. It's a little bit more justifiable. Plus I have to do it by myself, and so it's kind of a bit of a long haul, and nobody really wanted to go to New York for 2 days with 60 hours worth of travel.
Exactly, yeah. So if you hadn't picked up on it from the accents, vMix is based in Australia, so it couldn't be further from pretty much the rest of the world. And so these trips are quite challenging for us. Happy birthday to me. Don't normally join the pre-show. Happy birthday to you. Resource-wise, Aorus i9 laptop with deck link in Thunderbolt enclosure. Better use SDI out or HDMI of laptop for full screen outs. Well, I guess it depends. If you're using the Thunderbolt, well, for starters, if you're doing anything more than 1080, then don't worry about Thunderbolt. If you're going 4K or anything like that, ignore Thunderbolt. You can't be using that. But if you are doing 1080, then I don't know if there would be too much difference, to be honest. You're going to find that going out to screens over SDI might be trickier if the screens are local, like are really close by. And if the screens are close by, I'd probably go HDMI. But I'm struggling to see or think of a reason to go one over the other for performance reasons, probably more for practicality reasons.
I'd probably go HDMI, I would say. I've never actually really sat down and tested it, but just needing to output might be the main sort of concern, but I don't know. You have to try it out.
If your screens are really far away, then SDI is handy.
But yeah, that's a good question.
It is a very good question.
I'll put Heath onto that later today. He can try it out and we can test it out and report on our findings across all of our social media channels.
Easy. Got a little bit on at the moment. I also engage in that hobby. Tim, what was the hobby that was discussed?
I don't know. Hello, Joe. How are you? I think he meant observing people's browser toolbars. Yes, I think that might be it. But that was a good question.
I don't know if you remember, the last time I did a demo, or the one before that, when we opened up a browser, I think we got a big pop-up saying, like, your browser has been updated, you know? It was like, oh, you know?
I've had ones before,
So,
where it's like a big thing where it's saying Xbox 360
Exactly.
or whatever. And
Exactly, yeah.
Made no sense.
Do the earlier than usual release of vMix 29 and the teaser at the end of the lead-in to tonight's show together portend an earlier than usual timeline for vMix 30? That's a stretch. Look, you never know. But to be honest, we've only just started considering what vMix 30 might contain. So we've only had a couple of meetings about it so far. So it's very early days for vMix 30. With the work done to reduce CPU load from replay and the ability to specify recording media on an individual replay input base, does that lay the groundwork for additional replay inputs in vMix 30? That is a very interesting question. Can't say, don't know, to be honest, but you are correct in saying that the performance gains and the ability to split over drives definitely allows your computer to handle this better. And so, yep. Yeah, like it's a good comment. It's a very good comment. Windows XP for life, or not. It depends on what you think about security. Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't mix XP?
Yeah.
Those rolling hills, man. This is very good. Any more?
No, I mean, there were plenty. People were very into it.
Okay, so latency, very, very similar for both, to be honest. In terms of latency, you're not going to see much difference at all between the two. The reason to use one over the other, there's a heap of different reasons to use one over the other. For OMT, if you're sending from vMix to vMix, I would recommend OMT these days, just because a lot of the work is already done. If you're using vMix AVI or taking advantage of the vMX codec under the hood. If you don't know what I mean by vMX codec, watch our OMT video that we've dropped a couple of days ago. So, yeah.
It's loading.
Why can't you record every input to multicorder, but only certain ones? That's a good question. So, the reason for that is the way the multicorder works is it grabs the content completely raw from your cameras and from your NDI sources or OMT sources. Grabs the content super raw and just dumps it to the drive. Doesn't do any processing at all on it, as in it doesn't render out a finished product. It just takes what it's got and drops it on the drive. What that means is if you've got a camera and you apply like a LUT to it or you apply some color correction, if you're recording that camera, you're not going to see those effects. They're getting recorded, just the raw content that's coming into vMix. The only exception is using the outputs 1 through 4. So outputs 1 through 4 are rendering the finished product, and they allow you to apply all of the effects and to put overlays on and record all of those as well. But they come at a significant performance hit because you've got to do all of the processing. So the reason that we don't allow you to record absolutely everything is because not absolutely everything is suitable for dumping straight down onto a drive with no processing. And that's why we give you your 4 outputs so that you can process the ones that don't get listed. Hopefully that makes sense.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Let's get one to be loading. I'll load one up for you. Loading.
All right. Watching from Nepal. Great to see live. Very
Hello,
cool.
Nepal. Did you ever do the
Very
base
cool.
camp?
Me?
That
No,
wasn't you.
no, that wasn't me. No.
I know.
No.
I think we know some people that did that, right?
We do.
Yeah.
Yep. Could you do a video on the Raspberry setups for OMT? At this stage, probably not. Mostly because OMT is, while vMix's development was very involved in OMT. OMT is not our product. It's not a vMix product. It's an open source product that's out there. And so going into the weeds of that stuff, might be a little premature for that stuff. We want to see what people do with OMT. We really want to encourage people to have a play with it themselves. What program is the Raspberry Pi running to pull in the OMT feed? Okay, so what is going on is the Raspberry Pi, it's just running Raspberry Pi OS, which is their native operating system. And if you go to the GitHub for OMT, all I did was I logged into the Raspberry Pi from my desktop computer using a program called Putty. We're in Linux world now, so get used to some really strange product names like Putty and cheese and wine and you name it. But using a product called Putty, I logged into the Raspberry Pi and then I just copied the code directly from the GitHub directions on how to create an OMT player. So just copied and pasted and ran each command, and by the time I was done, I had a working Raspberry Pi OMT decoder. So just follow the guide. Hopefully you can do the same. Make sure that you're using a Raspberry Pi 5 or better, because you need the CPU performance of a Raspberry Pi 5.
Yep. All right, I think that should about do us. We will definitely cover the rest of these questions in the post show. So we're currently live, but we will continue to be live after the show, and we will answer the rest of the questions that people have. There's quite a few in here, but it's 10:30 according to my watch.
Okay.
I don't know why it's fast, but it's 10:30. And if anybody else is out there, can they fill me in on the World Series score? Thanks, that'd be great.
Right.
So I think that's it for today, and we'll stream you later.
See ya.
Thanks for watching. We gotta go. This has been the theme.